since you asked, there is some news that we are going to get to share very soon about our location. It was not ready for tonight. We're still dotting I's and crossing T's, but I'm going to wait to talk about anything related to location for a few more weeks until we can get you that information. Okay. Okay, I'm going to keep going because I think, yes, okay. So, dates and rates. So here we have the session dates. We're still doing 3 sessions. About when we usually do it. It does start a little bit later, and that gives us a chance to get the staff in and make sure that they're all healthy. So you might notice those dates are skewed a little late for us. And then you'll see on here the CITs, which I'm going to talk more about in a minute, but those are rising 11th and 12th graders. I feel so excited. We're finally a grown-up camp that has CITs. And we heard from you that you wanted to still have that flexibility of 1, 2, or 3 sessions, not a full summer program like some other camps do. So you can just come for 12 days or 2 sessions or 3 sessions. Okay, so priority registration is now. So this is going to give you your first crack at workshops and making sure that you reserve a space, because as I said, we don't know if we're going to have to limit capacity. So that early bird discount is $250 off. And then, that's for 2 weeks. For the next 2 weeks is still early bird. So we're going to open it wide on December 1st to any new families also. And they can also get that $250 off, but you all have first crack. And then we've added a new discount, which is only for new families. So if you have a sibling who hasn't come to camp before, that would not be a new family because you're not a new family, right? That's a new camper, but we're talking about new families. So I want to make sure that you don't get caught off guard by that. So the Edison discount, because February 11th, happy birthday, Thomas, is for new families. So we are going to have that rolling financial aid that we always have, and we're going to start earlier in January so that we can get all the people who enrolled early and get them their assistance packages as soon as possible, just because we know in this environment, a lot of folks are in need, and we have never pretended that camp is not expensive. It is, and we want to be able to help out with that. So we want you to know what aid you have as soon as possible. So starting in January. Okay.
There's 3 questions, or there's a few questions in here when
Okay.
you're. One is, do we count as new or returning if we were signed up for last summer? And I'm assuming that the question is if we were signed up for last summer and weren't able to come.
Yes.
So I'll answer that question and then I'll go to the next one.
So you are returning. If you enrolled and unfortunately none of us got to come, you're part of the family already, and you get to do that priority registration starting today.
Great. Second is, can you talk more about second year One Happy Camper?
Yes, so let me get to both of those things. So there is One Happy Camper for new campers. Now, this is the opposite of what I just said, because One Happy Camper sees you as brand new and you can still get that money. But you do have to reapply. They didn't save those applications. So you still get that $700, but you do need to apply for that. Okay, so that's if you were going to be new in 2020, but didn't come. So what we call, I put it in quotes because it's not a One Happy Camper program, but we have a generous donor who knows that One Happy Camper is lovely, but then what? So some of you have taken advantage of this before. We don't plaster it everywhere because it is for folks who really need the help. That if you got One Happy Camper when you were new, which was $700, if you apply for assistance, I'm pointing at my screen like y'all can see that. It says there, if you apply for assistance and it's your second time at camp, so now you don't have One Happy Camper, we can give you what we like to call second year One Happy Camper, which is $400. So we just want you to know that that's there. So don't say, well, one happy camper was nice, but now I can't afford it. You still can get some help if you're a second year.
Awesome.
Okay.
And there's the next two questions I think you're going to answer soon, but I'll just let you know
Okay.
if they came up. Question number one is, do you have a sense of what workshops you're able to offer this summer? And the second one, it says, is on the website, the second session has arts next to it. Will that session have a different focus than the other two? So,
Okay, I am going to get to that. Awesome. We're going to leave those in the parking lot because next I want to tackle payments and refunds and cancellations because I mean, why would you put a deposit down now with all of this uncertainty until we talk about refunds and cancellations? And Kim is here. So Kim, wave. So Kim is our new registrar. So we did let you know that Amy's position was eliminated as one of the impacts of COVID. So I know it's disappointing because she always had so much patience and was so kind when you called. But I'm so happy to introduce you to Kim, who is just as patient and just as kind. And we get to share her with our sister camp, Camp Newman. So now we've combined those things. And is Cheryl with us? Not yet? Okay, so if she joins, we'll introduce you to her too, because Kim is our registrar. So she can tell you all the things that that covers. And then Cheryl is finance. So when it comes to your payment plans and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. And Kim, you should speak up and help me explain this. But what I did is I simplified this into this nice little table. Because we have some new deadlines that we haven't had before. So, okay, the standard deposit is $500. It has always been that. And this still applies if that is not an amount that you can do, if that is not comfortable, same as always, you tell us and we can adjust that amount. Whatever you don't pay is added to your balance, but you don't have to plunk down $500 if that's a lot. Okay, here's what's new. These are the days that you can see on your screen where things are due. So number of days out, that is from the first day of first session. So Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if you're attending a different session, these are still the deadlines.
Yes, that's correct. The
Okay.
deadlines start working backwards from the very first day that camp is open. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what session you're coming to.
Okay, so right. So those dates there are number of days out from first session. So you can see the percentage of your balance is due. Well, now what if I'm new or I'm just not comfortable yet or I want to wait and see? We totally understand that and we will work with everybody. And that's one of the things that Cheryl is so good at is creating these payment plans. But this is what is standard. So let's say you enroll on you just for the first time enroll in March after this 90 days out. You would be asked to put down that 75%, right? 25% from before and the 50%, the 25 plus the 50, right? So let's say you enroll on March 25th. The idea is that you would pay 75%. But as I said, we work with every single family and make it make sense for you. But this is the policy. Okay, any questions before I move on to what if we cancel?
there's a few questions about the location, but maybe we'll come back to that once you've gone through this stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Jordana, are you going to talk about how people are allowed to pay this year, the payment options and the payment methods?
Will you talk about that? That's a great point because that also is a little new.
Sure. This year, for the first time, URJ camps are taking e-checks, which means you give us your checking account number and we automatically withdraw payments from that. We've also added the Discover card for the first time, which some people will be super happy about. And we're also adding a credit card fee this year to help cover those fees that they charge us. So if you choose to use a debit card or an e-check, there are no fees, but if you use a credit card, there is a 2.5% or 2.2, something like that. It's on the application, you'll see it. The other thing I wanted to point out is that on the camper application, you'll be asked to choose a payment plan. So using one of those payment methods we talked about, you will be able to choose either pay in full at the time of enrollment or pay the standard payment plan, which is 3 chunks, January, March, and April. Or you can use the monthly payment plan, which divides it into 5 payments starting in December. And then if none of those work for you because of whatever, you are welcome to reach out to me and specifically to Cheryl, but I'll get you there. And we'll work out a plan that works best for your family. But you will have to pick one of those on the application, just so you know.
And Kim, there's a question in here, I think really for you. If they canceled in when 2020 camp was canceled and we selected to use last year's enrollment fee towards 2021, so they rolled forward, will you have that info?
Yes, absolutely. And when you fill out the camper application, it will look to you like you're still going to be charged the deposit because it's a manual system, and Cheryl and I have to go in and tweak it so that it uses your credit from last year to cover your deposit. So you just have to trust us. So we will take care of it because we can see the credit.
And Cheryl's here, so maybe we can Cheryl, give us a wave.
I'm so sorry, everybody. Bye.
That's okay. We just wanted to make sure everyone got to see you and could put a face with a name when they are going to be calling you. So we've been talking all about payments and we're about to talk about cancellations.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on. Okay. So this table, I just want to be clear, is if you cancel, if you have to cancel. So if it is before March 24th, you would get everything back, but we would keep what you had put down for the deposit as an administrative fee. Between 90 and 45 days, and you can see what I put the dates in there so it could be really clear. 75% is refundable back to you. Less than 45 days, which is May 9th, that's going to only be under special circumstances. And that just sort of gives me the discretion to be able to see what's going on and why, and we will work together on that. So again, these are different than what we're used to. So we want to make sure it's clear up front. Okay, now, if we cancel camp because of COVID or the county doesn't let us, and God forbid, we all are very familiar with that situation. Again, like last year, a 100% refund. So something that we all sort of learned about, at least I did when this all happened, is this thing called travel insurance. So it sounds like it's for when you're going on a trip, but it can also be for camp. So it is all laid out on our CampMinder when you enroll. If you want to buy this travel insurance, it's like $200 or $300. It depends on how long you're coming to camp for. And this is for the above, for the table. This is for if you cancel and you want some coverage. If you don't feel comfortable. Okay, is there anything else I should have said, Kim, about?
Sure, let me add one thing.
Yeah, please.
If you're not sure at the time of your registration, because you want to do a little more research or whatever, you don't have to purchase it. You can, but you don't have to. You can purchase it anytime before you make your final payment or before May 1st, whichever is earlier. And to do that, you just need to email or call me. Do not call the insurance company, call me directly, because we have a special group arrangement.
Okay.
And Jordana, there's a question here, but maybe before I share that question, I just want to make a broad statement to everyone, which is last year, it was a big decision to obviously provide full refunds to everyone, and not a hard decision because it was the right thing to do, but a big decision because it there was a lot of consequences on our team professionally and financially, as you can imagine. And the reason I share that is not out of guilt. Many of you guys have done amazing and supported us, and we are so deeply appreciative. I just share that to say, like, we want to do the right thing. We want to do the right thing for you and with you. Um, we did take a long look at our policies to try to make sure that we were very clear and that you felt comfortable, and then we could also figure out how to make sure that everyone feels comfortable to navigate what is a very unique moment in time in all of our lives. So I just want to say that in general, one thing you'll hear, you're going to hear it from Jordana, you'll hear it when you talk to Cheryl, you'll hear it when you talk to Kim. I want you to hear it from me too, that we're here to be a team with you and to figure out how to make this happen. And yes, we have policies, and we also just want to be, we want to do the right by folks, and that's how we've been acting, and that's how we intend to continue to act. The question that came up is, there's two questions here. One is, there's three. What would make you cancel camp? And what if where I live has a different color zone than camp? Actually, I'll take one at a time. You can go for that one, and then I'll give you the next question.
Okay. What would make us cancel camp? The county, the mayor, right? The state, these kinds of, what's the word I want? Decrees. That's not the word I wanted. That we were seeing before, where we just can't have that many people in the same space. I think that would probably be the scenario, because we want more than anything to have camp and are willing to move mountains to make it happen. So really would be about some sort of government agency telling us we couldn't. Would you agree with that, Ari?
Yeah, I'll just say, like, I think that's the most likely scenario of why it wouldn't happen. The reality is we take health and safety as number one. We were one of the first camps that's out there, and we did pretty early to cancel because we just knew that there was too much we didn't know, and we weren't going to take any risks with the health of our families and of the campers at camp. So if there's any reason we believe that we cannot offer a healthy and safe environment, we will not have camp. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I want to go back to an earlier point that Jordana made, that doesn't mean that we're promising that COVID will not come anywhere near camp. We can't make such a promise, and that would be irresponsible. It will always be safer to stay in a bubble at home, not talking or engaging with anyone ever. That's always gonna be safer. That being said, we really do believe that, and our medical experts are telling us that there are ways to do this in a really safe and responsible way. And the reason we won't run camp is either someone tells us we can't, or something dramatic changes that makes us believe that we cannot run camp in a safe and responsible way. Those are kind of the two big buckets.
Are there any more questions specifically for Kim or Cheryl? Because I know Kim has a special dinner guest tonight, and I want to be able to let her go.
There's a few more just cancellation related. One is to confirm,
let's do that.
If we cancel, then we do not get our $500 deposit. To confirm, if we cancel, we do not get our $500 deposit back.
If you choose to cancel, we have to keep whatever you put down as a deposit as an administrative fee.
So we'll come back. There's a question about quarantining.
There was a question about what if a camper gets sick right before camp? So in general, that is the situation for which you would buy the travel insurance. The same as if you were going on a cruise or, a tour organized by someone and you got sick right before the trip. That's why people buy travel insurance. And then, as Jordana said, you should always call and talk to her or me and Cheryl, like talk to us about whatever the situation is, because there's a policy and then there's a unique situation that we need to know about. So please stay in touch.
Well said.
So there's a handful of COVID questions. I don't know that I'm seeing any more that are relating to cancellations or payments. So I think we can, unless I missed any, but I think maybe we can jump to those and let Kim and Cheryl head out.
Yeah,
I'm
and we can
happy to
always
stay
collect
on.
questions.
I'm
Oh,
happy.
great. We'll keep Cheryl. We'll keep
Yeah.
Cheryl. Have a
Okay.
nice there.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go have dinner with my family. I am so excited to be working with all of you, and I can't wait to talk to all of you parents soon. Please call me, email me. I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Tell me more COVID questions, Ari.
We'll do more code questions now. All right.
Yeah, because
Uh,
we're gonna move on to other fun stuff. So, and
Great.
you just can't focus on anything until you feel comfortable with COVID.
Yes, I think that's great. All right. Do you know how long we might be asked to quarantine? I'm still not sure how we will do that with out-of-state kids.
Yeah. So it depends a lot on the way that tests are and how things look once we get closer, but I can imagine anywhere from 14 to 7 day.
Yeah, and we've seen from some of the camps that ran successfully that there's a combination of testing and quarantine that go hand in hand. That there's some best practices that it wasn't so straightforward. I saw some camps that had you could do 14 days of quarantine without a test until right before. You could do a 7-day where you test at the beginning of 7 days and then again once before. So it's hard to give an exact what's the right rule because the testing is also changing and what's available and the trustworthiness of the rapid tests and the like. So it's one of the reasons why we're not trying to be cagey about it, but quite literally these things are changing, and so we can kind of speak to a broader sense of what we've seen and what we've heard and what we've kind of learned that the moment says right now. But we haven't seen anything longer than 14 days, but
Right.
we've definitely seen things in the 7 to 10 days as well.
Let's go forward.
All right, we're in South Texas, so the idea of traveling to camp is what is giving me pause at the moment. We can isolate before camp, but getting there will definitely put us back at risk and others at camp by consequence.
Yeah. I think the sort of general statement for anything that falls under the heading of I'm just not comfortable yet. I need more information before we enroll. What Ari and I have talked about is that we can extend this early bird priority to our returning campers, no matter when that comfort does come in, because you are our returning families, and we certainly understand that there is just so much uncertainty. So, especially with travel, especially with coming from out of state, I don't want you to feel like you have to do it now if you're not comfortable. You know, like anything else, right? No matter before COVID, you are going to give us your child. You need to be comfortable with us, with me, with what we're telling you. So that applies double right now.
And if a camper has COVID, sending them home could be an issue for the family, question mark.
Yes. Which goes under the out of state or further away families. So yeah.
And if our camper gets COVID, they would be isolated for the whole of camp, question mark.
Well, we would probably try to arrange to send them home so that we wouldn't have to keep them in isolation, which is no fun.
So there's a lot of the answers of everything's a case by case and depends on the guidance of medical experts. We actually have a URJ-wide task force, which is a whole series of pediatricians, camp professionals, doctors who, we even have one of our camp director colleagues who is stepping away mostly from his day-to-day in order to just focus and support us across the entire country. And he has the medical background and the like. So each one of these scenarios will be taken case by case and make sure that we're solving for what's the best interest of the family and the uniqueness of that scenario. Let me keep going. What would you do if someone gets COVID?
Yeah. So again, these are the kinds of things that we're studying, and I wouldn't want to tell you exactly 1, 2, 3 until we're closer. But what I can tell you is that the reason to have these pods, that is what mitigates the secondary spread. And that is what we saw with the camps that ran successfully. So that if one person in camp gets COVID, it doesn't mean all of camp is done. We have kept it to this limited group. So right now you can go dig into that for sure. But these are the kinds of things that we're looking at and the kinds of things we're studying. So, but it would do all of us a disservice if I told you exactly what the policies and procedures would be in November for those situations.
Would URJ help help coordinate testing? Sorry.
The pre-camp testing, I'm assuming that means.
I believe that's what they're asking about.
Yeah. So again, this is all the stuff that we're looking at, and bulk purchasing between all of 15 of our camps for these tests. So we have, as Ari just said, one of the camp directors who is dedicating now all of his full-time work to this. So that's something we're looking at.
Yeah. And then there's some questions about people from out of state, and I think the questions are on flights and wondering if the quarantine has to happen within California if you're coming in from out of state. I'm happy to answer that unless you want to take that one.
Go for it.
So what I'll say is in at least a lot of these workshops that I've sit into and a lot of the meetings that I've been in regarding best practice, they are coming forward, I believe at this moment, with ways that you can fly to camp, not necessarily 14 days in advance to quarantine near camp. I don't think I don't know that we view that as a reasonable solution to expect of families. And so we have seen that there's, basically what oftentimes these protocols are recommending, better, best type situation where like, this is the best thing you could do. This is the next one that is not quite as good, but it's good. And then if you need to go this route, then this is what you do. But I will say that there are protocols for people to fly to camp that are settled within that. So I would don't hold me to it, but I would sign up with the assumption that it is a quarantine at home and likely testing once you get to camp post quarantine, and that there is there will be guidelines and recommendations on how to get from home to camp, knowing that many of you will be on flights. There was a very nice message saying, "We love you guys, just not COVID."
I feel the same way. I do not love COVID.
And then the last question here, I think we got through them all, and so you can keep going, which is how many campers would be housed in each room, cabin, dorm for sleeping?
Yeah. So we still have our approximately 2 to a room. So this bumps up against some site stuff. So I'm gonna hold off on that. But it still would be about 2 to a room.
And then there's two site related questions that maybe you just want to hit on real quick right here.
Okay.
One is, will you share the location prior to the end of priority registration, 11:30? And 2, can you let us know if camp is staying in Southern California, as that can impact choice to register?
Great questions. Yes to Southern California. And I hope by November 30th, it really all just depends on these I's and T's that need to be crossed.
We're like really close. We thought we were going to be able to announce it today. So let's just put it that way. So, and if it's a problem for registering, just reach out to Kim, have that conversation, and we can figure something out. As we know that there's some uncertainty, we want to make sure to hold a spot for you.
Yes. I'm balancing pushing forward because I'm watching the time and making sure everyone feels like they could take a deep COVID breath and move on.
All the questions have been answered that I think. So if I missed your question, if you could repost it, but I think I got all the questions that are out there.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to some more fun stuff. So here are the workshops that we are going to be offering. And okay, I lied. It's not totally COVID-free, but because of the plans around potting and limiting, we are offering just these 3. So we eliminated 1 workshop. So video game design, robotics, doctors in training, veterinary medicine, which we were so excited about doing last summer and didn't get to. So those 3 workshops for now, and if God willing, everything is looking really great, we could always add another one. But those are going to be our 3. Okay, So I mentioned that we're so excited to have CITs. So here's some bullet points to answer some questions. There's a little more information on our website. But I can take some questions now, but I think this pretty much covers it. You can see here the multi-session discounts, which increase as you, stay longer. It is a 2-year experience, so that if you chose to go on SciTech Israel or another program, you could do CIT the other summer. And then it is going to be different each session. So if you stayed for more than one session, you wouldn't be doing the same thing over and over again. So we're excited to have our own CITs. Okay, I'm moving on. Yeah? Okay, this is one of our big announcements. We're so excited. We are diversifying, we are growing, and we are adding an arts track. So I can tell you all about what exactly that means. But I really love this slide, so I wanted to share it. So we can't just call ourselves 6-Point SciTech anymore if we are more than science and technology. So we are also changing our name. We are going to be called 6 Points West Specialty Camps, and you can see that sort of as an umbrella, and that within that we have our SciTech track and we have our arts track. So before I go any further, because I'm going to explain this a lot more, but I do want to introduce Alexandra Weiner, who's been sort of quietly hiding on this call, who is going to be the point person for the arts track, and comes to us with lots of camp experience, grew up in URJ camping, has a master's degree in dance, and is going to be a wonderful addition to our staff. So hi to Alex, and then this is a good time to wave to Ben also. Ben is also here as still our point person and our fearless leader, because we all know the science and the technology is not coming from me, it's all Ben. So I'm so excited that I have both of them to help us with this. Okay, so what do you mean? I thought I went to a science camp. Okay, so there are going to be 2 workshops to start, visual arts and theater. You can see here that it is a 1-session pilot program. We're going to do this during 2nd session, so the first 2 weeks of July. There will be the same high-level instruction, the same specialty focus, but how much will the 2 tracks mix? Okay, so not 100%, but kind of a good rule of thumb way to think of it is that when we're in our specialty, when we're skill building, when we're doing that high level instruction, we are separate. And when we're doing general living camp things, just sort of general camp things, we can be together. And of course, there's an asterisk on all of our lives with COVID, and I can get to that. But so we will be in one dorm. We can eat meals together. The dates are the same. The tuition is the same. The back office administration is the same, but still separate and high level and deep. One thing I want to just underline here on the slide is the electives where it says crossover. So in a world where there is not COVID, one of the things that we're really excited about is that when it comes to our electives, that we could really be in this crossover position, because everyone likes Dungeons and Dragons, and cooking is really all about science, and musical instruments is all about science. And I think the SciTech kids would really love like stage combat choreography and special effects makeup. So you can see how this is an opportunity to come together and cross over and see friends and try new things. Are there any
Really
questions?
changed and stuff. I'll go back out.
Any questions about that, Ari?
They really said nothing about the PhDs.
No, the only question was about CITs. But maybe let me just add just one element of excitement of one, just how appreciative we are for Ben and how excited we are to add Alex to the team. And also just say, the specialness of camp is that you find your people, and that's still what it's is all about. And so this is really about our SciTech friends finding their SciTech friends, and our arts friends finding their art friends, but also finding opportunities for the in-between as well. And we think it's gonna be a really special thing. So the one question was, what specifically will the CITs do?
Great. So it's different depending on if you're a rising 11th grader or a rising 12th grader. The 11th graders, we heard from them that they still wanted to go to electives like they did when they were campers. They're going to have a camp project, so something that is permanent and benefits camp. So we still are a rental facility, but like one of the ideas that we were hoping they would do last summer is build us an ark, because now we have our own Torah. That happened since I last saw you all. So now we need an ark to put it in. So what would an ark that was specifically us look like? So they could build that. 12th graders are going to focus on their counseling and their leadership skills, because the following summer they could be hired as counselors. And then together they are going to work on a social action project that uses our passions and our skills to see the good we want to achieve in the world. And they're going to help plan all camp programs. So for example, during second session, one of our programs is a physics carnival. So that could be something that the CITs would plan. And then during other sessions, there are other programs that benefit all camp that the CITs would plan. And of course, planning and programming is a huge learning opportunity and really fun. Okay, should we keep pushing forward?
Yeah, there's no other questions in the chat right now.
Okay, awesome.
The only thing I would add to that is that we are still talking to our teens. We have a group of teens that communicate and to try to build a program that's best for them. So if you have a teen that's interested in this program and wants to help be not only participate in the program, but create the program and really give a voice to what they want to do, we are please reach out to us, because we'll add them to the group.
Yeah, this is such a wonderful group, because they really are from 2018, from our Pioneer Summer, they've been on the leading edge of matriculating and helping us figure out how we grow older as a camp. So thank you. Okay, so there are lots of other exciting things to know. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Ben can show you a video, but we want to make sure you all know about Medua crates. So Medua, who you see there, is our non-gendered llama, because llama means Y in Hebrew, and so does Medua. So Medua wants to send you a Jewish STEM project in the mail every month if you subscribe. And it's a great Hanukkah present. It just launched, so the first box you would get in the mail is the Hanukkah project. So let's have a quick promo. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Ben can share his screen, and we'll see what it looks like. Awesome. Thank you. So that's available to you if that sounds like a good gift for your camper. For Hanukkah birthday, you can get 1 month, you can get 6 months. So if you have any questions, ask us about that. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. There's still more fun. Hopefully that's the right one. Is that the right one, Ari? Okay. In January, we are going to be starting something new, like a kind of like an after school, weekly after school activity. We're going to take all the fun that we had over the summer with tech, which you of course remember stands for Totally Epic Challenge Hunt. So we had all those challenges that you could do over the summer. So now we're going to take one at a time, one each week, and dive into them virtually, of course, as an after school activity. So something fun to be able to connect with your camp friends, and you have access to it as enrolled campers. So not, you feel like doing it, you don't feel like doing it, but just a fun thing to do after school to connect with camp. So you'll hear more about that. Okay, we are launching Family Camp. So it'll be after third session ends, Thursday afternoon to a Sunday morning, August 5th to 8th. And we're doing that in collaboration with our sister camp, Camp Newman. So it'll be at our site in August. And this really is not only if you all want to bring your parents and your grandparents to camp with you, or if you have friends who aren't so sure they're ready for camp, this is a great taste of camp. So you can help us spread the word about this, that this is for folks who just want that taste, that experience of both the science track, the arts track, and Camp Newman to kind of get them over that hurdle of feeling comfortable with camp so that they might enroll with us the following summer. That's Family Camp. Okay, lastly, the last exciting thing for now that I want you to know is that we have been doing a lot of hard work with the URJ, our parent organization, around diversity, equity, and inclusion. So there is a department at the URJ, they're called Audacious Hospitality, and it's their whole job, even before our world changed so much, to make sure that URJ congregations and institutions were as safe and as welcoming as they possibly could be. So they're working with each camp to make sure that each camp is as safe and as welcoming as possible. So there are some parents who are in that working group with us, staff, board members, and parents, we have camper on that committee, who are really looking deeply at everything we do, the way we train our staff, the way we communicate, the way our forms are worded, because camp, we know, is the place that we wish the whole world could be like. So we want to make sure that we're getting a little closer to that goal, that camp is the most safe and the most warm and the most welcoming place possible. So we're hard at work at that. Okay, let's see. Finally, I'm going on to ways to help and connect, and I'm almost done. Ari, any questions before? Okay, well, I'm going to keep going because I'm looking at the time. Okay, so we're just so appreciative to our families. Sometimes when I write emails and I write Dear SciTech Family, and I think that sounds like Dear Resident, you know, when you get junk mail. But what I really mean is like, I'm addressing my family, you all. So when I say Dear SciTech Family, that's what I really mean. Ways to help. Okay, so as always, if you tell a friend about camp and they enroll, you could save $200. You could come to an open house. Now, I don't know what open houses are going to look like yet, but we're going to have some in the next calendar year. So some of you did this with us in the past where you come as the ambassador parent and answer some questions and help us out with that. You could host an online info session. So we'll gather just like this, and you gather up your friends who might want to hear about camp, and I will answer every single question until they feel comfortable. We try really hard to post on social media, but it's not my thing or Ben's thing. But sometimes if you're willing, we could call you and say, can you share that Facebook post so it gets a little more eyeballs? That's a great way to help us. Meet us at your synagogue. So it might meat might look like this, but when we come and promo at your synagogue, it's always great to have families who already know us to be able to say, right, these guys are the real deal. They're wonderful. One great way to help, if you feel like camp forms are no big deal and you really get them, not everyone feels that way. Some people feel really overwhelmed by the amount of forms we have. I know, like we have a lot of forms or something. So we look for forms helpers. And some of you agreed to do this before everything went sideways. So we would send you someone, you would set up a time with them to go through the forms together. That's a huge help to camp. And so if you want to do any of those things, send me an email and we will put you to work. And I just wanted to say thank you again to all of you for being a part of our family, and a special thank you to those people who donated their tuition, rolled over their funds. It's not easy to let go of that money, but it was an enormous help to our sustainability, and one of the reasons why we're even talking about having camp again next summer is because of that support. So thank you. Okay. So lastly, I just want you to know enrollment is open. So if you do feel comfortable and you are ready, you could go do that right now. Yay. Okay, I will stay here as long as it takes to answer questions. If you don't have any, you could say goodnight. But I'm just so thrilled to see all of you and so thrilled to be talking about camp. Ari, what questions can I answer? Or you can just unmute yourself too.
Hi, Jordana. Can you go over the cost for session 1 versus session 2? There's going to be a difference?
There is no difference. All the sessions cost the same. So with the early bird, let me go back to that screen because I need a cheat sheet too.
Before people log off, I also just wanted to let everybody know that I put a link in the chat to our latest page on our website. We tried to put all the information in one place. So if you have more questions about dates and rates or about the arts program or COVID stuff, we're constantly updating it with all the latest info.
Thank you for reminding me. That is crucial. If you go to the website you were used to going to, you're going to think it looks a mess because, why do one thing at a time? We're getting a new website. So Ben created this link with all of the information you're going to need right now.
Oh, shit.
So that's in the chat. That's okay, Molly. We use all the words. It's okay.
And just as before you finish your next comment, Jordana, I just want. But we are so lucky to have Jordana, and I hope there's a lot of those in the chat right now. But this is a crazy time, and a lot of I think this moment is about do you trust us with your children? And the truth is, I know I trust Jordana, and I think that you are here because Jordana is someone worth trusting, and we take this pretty seriously. So I just want to take a minute to thank you, Jordana. And it's coming in through the there's some amens coming in through the chat right now if you're not seeing them. But before people signed off, just thought it was important to say. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
On the question about tuition.
Yes. Okay. So I put the screen back up. So the base price is $34.90. So you are getting $250 off. Yes, I have to use my calculator. Ari probably knows off the top of his head. $32.40 is what you are gonna pay with the early bird before any aid or One Happy Camper or anything.
There's two questions. One is there a 4-week session? And there's another question about where can I get more information about arts?
Yes. Okay. Well, there is not a 4-week session, but if you want to come for 2 sessions, we'll love that. And what happens is we waive the intersession fee. So you get that discount. And then with COVID, we would just say you have to stay in camp. So there's no like going home, doing laundry, and coming back. You gotta stay in the bubble. But then you get to pick new workshops and have more fun. So yes. More information about arts is on that website. That so make sure you use the link that Ben created and put in the chat. And Alex, you can wave again. So Alex has a URJ email that we could also put in the chat, or you could always just reach out to me and I can answer questions or put you in touch with Alex. But there are descriptions on the website of what you do in the visual arts workshop and what you do in the theater workshop, what the electives might be, etc. So I should have put that also as a way to help out, is to tell your friends, because some of us can be sci-tech people and art people, but mostly we were excited to share it with you so you could tell your friends.
There was also a question of, are campers allowed to do one session of science and one of art, or are they only allowed one track per summer?
Yes. Alex, I can see your face. Yeah, you can totally do two. So that would be like signing up for 2 sessions. So you're going to choose, when you enroll, you'll see you choose a science workshop for one and an arts workshop for another. And then you'll hang out with us during session break so you don't leave the bubble. And then you'll be in the arts, you know, you could do it in either order also.
Yeah.
Hi,
No,
Hi, Jordana. Oops.
no, please.
It's us again.
Hi.
And I will mute myself this time after the question. 2 questions. One, if you do 2 sessions, is there still a $500 discount and an opportunity for scholarship?
Okay, great. So that $500 multi-session discount is for CITs because we really encourage them to do multiple sessions. For the rest of us who want to do 2 sessions, the discount is getting intersession for free. And yes, there's still a scholarship and we'll still help you out so that you can make it possible. Cheryl, did you want to add anything to that? I saw you smiling.
And the second question is, intercession, it looks like, is 4th of July. Is there going to be something special?
Yes, we will definitely celebrate 4th of July. We will figure out what that is. Yes, Ben.
I was just gonna say, as the person who runs intercession, I have to say intercession is my personal favorite part of camp, because it's a smaller group and you get to do lots of really fun stuff. So last year we made our own escape room puzzles using power tools and stuff, which we have some new cool power tools for this summer. And then we went to an escape room. We watched the Avengers. We did a lot of really fun stuff. So
yeah. So, and for sure it will be 4th of July themed, that first intercession. What else? Any other questions in the chat, or are we on out loud questions?
There was one question about, is the counselor Ava or Hannah or Eva coming back this year?
So I hope so, and I would love that. And so we usually start looking at staff between Thanksgiving and winter break. So we certainly want to retain as many staff members as we possibly can.
And we're getting there's some nice comments about how excited about coming this summer and excited about the possibility of dance, which is coming out there. And then there's another one, is there family camp info listed on the site, on our website?
Probably not yet, because that is coming. But if you are specifically interested in family camp, then just shoot me a note so I know to code you to that so that you'll get it when it's ready.
also, the best way to find out information the fastest is to make sure you're just subscribed to our social, like our Instagram and Facebook and all that, because stuff goes there in a very, easy post to read. And as soon as it comes out, and then we also will email all the information, but we know that gets lost in the inbox sometimes. There was
right.
also a question about if the staff will be the same for arts and science.
No. Because we know that the best counselors for a specialty camp are the ones who love your focus just as much as you do and really get it, where the counselors for the arts session will be different than the counselors for the sci tech track. And second session, both of those tracks are happening at the same time. So the sci tech counselors will be with sci tech kids, and the arts counselors will be with the arts kids. So I just want to introduce Michael Waxman, who joined us. If you want to wave, Michael's a member of our executive committee. Sorry, now he's embarrassed. But I just wanted to acknowledge him and all the support that he's given to camp. So thank you for joining us. And also, because we get a ping every time someone enrolls, I can see that people are already enrolling. So it's very exciting. Okay, sorry, more questions?
When you say first choice, that's obviously the workshop first choice, not like some other Hoog or something else.
Right. Workshop. Awesome. Okay.
Was last year's doctors in training not veterinary? It was just regular?
It was people. The first time we ran it, which was in 19. So if you took it last time, you could take it again because it'll be different. So what we heard from campers at the end of the summer, we really pay attention to all these surveys we make you fill out, that the kids really wanted something around animals. So that's why we thought this would be a good opportunity, and that we could do veterinary medicine here, and then we could keep going and do like microbiology there next time. So it can be something that's revolving.
And I assume, does that involve real live animals?
It does. We're so excited.
Live animals, I guess living animals, not, is it dissecting thing or like?
It could be also, we did that with, when we did people, those campers got to dissect a heart. And I think we
There was
had,
a sheep brain and a turkey heart.
thank you,
I
yes,
believe.
not a real heart.
And
So
a real animal heart,
yes.
not a human heart.
So I can see doing that again, but the idea was also to bring in, like the birthday party folks. So like bring a lizard, bring a pony. The Levins are shaking their head, but hopefully in a good way.
Donna, there's some questions. One question is, do big bangs still occur? And Ben responded, definitely. The next two questions were, one, will you still celebrate birthdays? And two, does the art camp include dance and theater also?
So for sure on birthdays, we love birthdays and we love having cake for breakfast on birthdays. So dance is Alex's area, but we chose to start with theater and visual arts as the workshops. But she will definitely be offering an elective in dance. So there will be dancing, but the two workshops are theater and visual arts.
And just like our science workshops, one workshop can contain many parts. So if you're doing robotics, you're learning about engineering and computer programming and physics. And if you're doing theater, you're going to learn you can learn a variety, including dance or singing or acting and all of that.
Right.
Together.
Theater involves vocal, how you use your breath and how you use your body. Good point. Okay. I love all the questions. I'm going to call it because I want to be conscious of everyone's time, but you know that how much we love hearing from everyone. And you know you can always call and you can always email. So any other questions that come up that you think about, like, oh, shoot, I should have asked, you know where to find us. But hopefully you're just also excited and also hopeful, and hopefully feeling a little more comfortable, even though we're all still in this place of uncertainty, and we'll figure it out together. So thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.